So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to make it easy. I want to make everyone hear it and so informative. So then I started like kind of doing recordings, keeping the recordings, going back to it later on, and just seeing how I'm gonna make it into a sequel of chapters where you feel it.
Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve.
Welcome to the Dream Big and Think Different podcast, where we inspire, impact, and empower.
Progress is impossible if you always do things the way you have always done things.
It's time to dream big. Here's your host, Dr. Sachin Maskey.
All right, welcome everyone. This is another episode of Dream Big and Think Different podcast. I'm very excited today. I have special guest today from all the way from Dubai, which actually I met recently through LinkedIn, but he has a very interesting journey, which I like to share today, again, to inspire, impact, and empower people. We have Anthony Joseph. He has been, thriving on one of the influencer real estate broker. He is the CEO of Primestay, Associate Director of Provident Estate, and self-taught entrepreneurs in Dubai. He has humble beginning. He started his career in 2014. Since then, he has sold almost $1.1 billion worth of real estate in Dubai. Like every entrepreneur, he enjoys finding creative solution in the market, leveraging them to best advantage. He's a go-getter. Apart from his real estate, he also has written number one book seller on Amazon called Take Charge, which actually I have read yesterday, and we're gonna dig more about it. And then he also has an online academy that he mentors people. I think he has more than 300 students since then. And then he is also host of podcasts, very popular Dubai Stars. So with that, I would like to introduce my friend here, Anthony Joseph. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for having me on your show.
Thank you. So let's get started. Let's start with your, first of all, again, thank you very much for taking your precious time today. I would like to start with you, since our podcast name is Dream Big and Think Different. I would like to start with your first question what was your childhood dream? And from childhood to now, I guess I want to kind of get your journey. But let's start with your childhood. What was your dream when you were a kid,
There was not much dreams when I was a kid, It wasn't really the ideal childhood. It was very rough, actually. Originally I'm Lebanese. So when I was born in 1985, we were going through the civil war. So our dream was just to stay alive, as we say, you know what I mean? We didn't have much room to even like play outside or to even have that childhood that everyone has. So during that, let's say for the first 8 years, this was the war going on. And then when there was a ceasefire, my family went through a divorce. So it kind of like really, it was very tough for me mentally to absorb where I am and what do I need to do with my life. And I kind of like shifted to the dark side where I was really like a proper rebel on myself and on everyone. And I'm just trying to do everything against nature in order for me to find my way. So I can tell you, I was kind of lost in my life until the age of 29, when then I decided, I'm like, you know what, I cannot live the way I am living. There's no purpose in life. There is nothing to look forward to. So I need to change. And during all of that time, I always was finding excuses for my failures. So I was like blaming my country, blaming my parents, blaming everyone around me except myself. And then I'm like, you know what? You're not a tree. If you're not really being productive where you are, you have feet, you can just walk. And then I decided, I'm like, you know what? I should travel. And also I was traveling without any purpose, just kind of like discovering life outside my comfort zone, outside of everything that I knew all of my life. And this is how I ended up in Dubai. Without no dreams, without no goals, without anything. I just wanted to have a different life from everything that I was going through. And that's how it all started.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So I guess I was looking more about you. As I said before, we met in LinkedIn, social media somehow. But I was very interested again to learn more about you. And today, that's the reason you're here. And I'm curious just to ask you. Somewhere I heard, or I was listening to one of the podcasts, you are actually born in the United States. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. I was born in the States and my family moved to Lebanon when I was 1 month old.
Wow. Where in the United States, what am I asking?
It was in Ohio, in Kent, Ohio.
Wow. Okay. I've never been to Ohio, but sounds like you were 1 month old when you went to...
Yeah, me too. I've never been to Ohio.
But interesting. So you went to Lebanon when you're 1 month old.
Yeah, correct.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, I mean, now I guess I maybe I forgot to mention a lot of your achievement, but if you can tell me your current achievements and briefly tell about what you do and more about yourself right now, and we're gonna talk about a few things after.
But what do you mean by achievements?
Well, like, what you do right now, I mean, maybe I misspoken somewhere in the intro. I wanted you to tell our audience. Yeah.
I am into multiple services that is related to real estate. So, for example, as you said, I'm the associate director of Provident Estate. I'm a founder of a holiday homes company, which is one of the top 3 holiday homes companies in all of the UAE, not just in Dubai. We also have few services such as like the residential and the commercial cleaning. We do fit-ins, fit-outs, interior design, furnishing, like name it. No matter how you think about real estate, we are the people to go to. It's like a one-stop shop for all of the real estate services. On my personal side, which is a bit outside of the corporate life, I like to give back to the community. So as you said, I've already published a book last year. It has been a very, very successful book. Like the demand was nuts on it. Real Estate Academy, we have passed 350 students. And now in the process of releasing my new advanced course, which will be released in February. I have a new book coming up in March as well. Yeah, it's very advanced, the new one. And this is it. Like, this is it. That's the maximum I can do, in the 24 hours. Like.
But yeah, amazing. Yeah, you also have a podcast you host, Dubai Stars.
Correct.
Dubai
it's
Stars,
called Dubai
correct?
Stars. We have done 2 seasons and we're starting the season number 3 also. It's happening, let's say, in mid-January, January 15, when everyone is back to town. So it's gonna be also the purpose of my podcast is very similar to yours. I interview only the self-made entrepreneurs, self-made millionaires that came to Dubai, same as my story, that has nothing, and they made something out of themselves, whether it's an empire or just a name,
Sure. Let me ask you, sir. We're talking about your journey, so we talked about a little bit of your childhood. So you landed Dubai back in October 2014.
14,
I believe.
correct.
Yes,
8 years
and
ago.
then you had only $1,000 in your pocket. Is that correct?
Even less, maybe. Yeah.
Wow. So my story is kind of similar. I had $2,000 when I came to the United States, and you have $1,000 when you're in Dubai. Wow.
Yeah, but $2,000 in the state are actually good money. $1,000 in Dubai is nothing. It's peanuts. You can spend it in like 1 hour.
I know. So in Dubai, I guess I was just curious again. You're in Lebanon, but why did you choose Dubai? Even you're born in the United States, and what was your main reason for Dubai to go there and did whatever you did now,
So initially the purpose of the trip, it was actually to see a family member. It was my uncle. I haven't seen him from ages, so I came to Dubai to see him, see his kids. I've never met his kids. I have 2 cousins that I've never met. So that was it. But the second I landed in Dubai, once we went down the highway, I fell in love. I'm like, this city is nuts. It's crazy. It's so beautiful. It's so flashy. It's so clean. It gave me the feeling that it's a perfect place. And while having conversation with my uncle, he was like, you know what, you're really good in sales. Why don't you apply for real estate? job or role in Dubai. I'm like, yeah, why not? So I started applying and I got lots of calls back and they asked me for interviews and I went and I interviewed lots of companies. And until I decided the company where I'm still in it 8 years ago until date. And that's how the journey started.
Wow. Yeah, so we're gonna dig more a little bit in a few minutes, but I wanted to shift the gear now, and as the course of we're gonna talk more about your overall motivation, so that we can help other people to achieve their dreams. So I know you moved to Dubai, and I read a book yesterday actually, and if anybody have not read the book called Take Charge, I would highly recommend to get the book today, and it's only 2 hours read, and anybody else can 2 hours. But guess what? I mean, the information in the book, it's highly very motivational, and you're going to learn a lot of nuggets. We're going to share a few talking points actually right now, which got my attention yesterday when I was reading. So again, the book name is Tech Charge. You can an Audible, and I think there's a link there. You can buy Amazon, is available everywhere. So my question to Anthony today is about the book. A few things about the books. Why did you write the book? And I was wondering, what was your how long did it take to write a book, and what were your challenges to write a book? Because I'm a co-author of one of the book I wrote, and I just wanted to hear from your perspective, writing the book experience.
Yeah, so I'm a very active person. Like I easy work, let's say between 16, 17 hours a day. Like I cannot stay still. I go
Wow.
mad. I go nuts. And then COVID hit in Dubai in 2020. And I'm
Okay.
like, okay, like I have so much going on in my mind that I need to get out this information. I cannot keep thinking about it myself. And that's how it started. I just picked up the pen and the paper and I started writing. And within 1 hour, I was already in chapter number 4. And then, like most authors go through that when you hit like a brick wall and then you freeze and you were like, okay, I have so many ideas, but how to put them all online, and this is what made me froze. And then I started, as I don't know if you felt it when you were reading the book, you feel like more it's of a recording, like a podcast. It's not
Yes.
written in the way that I made sure that I want to make it so easy for anyone just to read it, understand it without having no complications, without giving like most of the authors, what they're doing is like when you have a book of 200 pages, 300 pages, you feel like there's 100 to 150 pages, which is a bit of nonsense or just giving examples of what the other they have done. And there's maximum 20 pages of actual golden nuggets. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to make it easy. I want to make everyone hear it and so informative. So then I started like kind of doing recordings, keeping the recordings, going back to it later on, and just seeing how I'm gonna make it into a sequel of chapters where you feel it's all coming aligned
Sure.
together, where you don't lose focus. And as you said, you read it in 2 hours. This is the same feedback I'm getting from everyone. That like once we start, we cannot stop until we finish it.
Oh yeah.
And yeah,
And how long
once
did it
we
take-
finish it,
Sorry, how long did it take to get your book? Like how many days or like months did you
no,
spend
as
time?
I told you, it's like I wrote for 4 chapters in 1 hour. Then I
Wow.
froze. Then I started doing some recordings. Then I started like, I don't know, like sometime I used to forget about it for a couple of weeks, and then one day I can write another chapter or two. You know what I mean? And then I reach out to someone. He's a publisher, and I told him like, listen, I have this book. I have this in my mind. I want to take it to the second level. I don't know how to get my certificate. Because in here you need to get a license as an author
Okay.
license for you to publish your book. I'm like, I don't
Okay.
know how to make like the cover of it. I don't know how to make all of this stuff. I just have the content and I want to
Sure.
make it live to a book. So he kind of like guided me. We started having conversation. He asked me questions the same way that we're talking right now. And he was like, listen, you have it all. You just need to assemble it. That's it. And I'm like,
Yes.
amazing. How to do that? So he gave me tips on how to do it. And okay, so I started writing it, let's say, in March, end of March, when we got the lockdown, 2020. And by end of the year, it was kind of like ready to be published. Then we picked up the cover, we did all of the stuff, and we sent it to publishing.
Amazing, amazing. I really appreciate what you have done for, like, the books can change life, as you have heard, and my life have changed by a couple of books. But I guess when somebody shares their story in book, and you have share your amazing story from your humble beginning, and I really appreciate you have done this. And I want to talk a little bit about the books, some chapter I was very touched by, and I wanted to help other people to get those the golden nuggets, I call it. The chapter 2, when you first mentioned, I don't know if you still remember, but the awakening, the first step of bringing the change is nourishing the soul. I mean, that's like a magic word, and people don't realize, and you mentioned that in the chapter 2 again. You can break any habit by doing consistently for 21 days.
You can
I want you to,
or you can break a habit.
Break or add, right? Yeah, I want you to tell me more about that concept, like nourishing the soul. I mean, that's very powerful,
It's all falls under what I call the Trinity of success.
Exactly.
Which is the mind, the body, and the soul. But regarding these habits, and I want to give you this very minor example. Do you smoke?
I don't smoke.
Okay, but okay, for all of the smokers who are listening out there, once you open a pack of cigarettes, you will always notice there is always 20 cigarettes. They never put 21 cigarettes. It's always like it has to be under 21, no matter what you do. So this is like a very small example for it. Now, even let's say if you don't work out and you start working out, once you pass this 21 days, if a day will come that you will not work out, you will feel guilty. You will feel ashamed because your body just got this adapted to it. I used to be a heavy smoker. After 3 weeks, after 21 days, I didn't even feel like I wanted to smoke. And it's been almost 2 years I haven't had a cigarette.
Wow.
And I cannot possibly care less. And this is after smoking for 20 years. So this is what I'm telling you, like you can do whatever you want, just be consistent enough to pass that period and the rest will be history. When it comes to the Trinity of the success, and the way I put it, it was like food for the mind, food for the body, and food for the soul.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so when it comes to your mind, it's always about the ideas that you feed yourself in it. Like you can always focus on the negativity around you, or you can see the negativity and you can say, okay, I'm in this situation. How can I get out of it? So this is what happens to people. They use their pain to say, okay, I am in a very bad place in my life because of my pain. Or they were like, okay, I am in pain. I hate this feeling. How I'm going to get out of it? So it's always, and everything is like revolving around our minds, how we think, how we attract, how we manifest, and how we have the perspective looking at specific stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. So I agree totally. Everything starts with your dream and mind, your mindset, and some of the misconception, I think you also mentioned in the book, that in the chapter 2, that I want the listener or anybody listening to this or watching this, there's 3 misconception I think you mentioned in the book. Some people said, I need to be lucky, and and it doesn't matter where you're born, or, I think leaders are actually made, not born. I agree totally with your thing in the book. And you said also one other myth or misconception is, I need to have money to make money, right? And you ended up with $1,000 in Dubai, and now you have done so many real estate.
You need courage to make money. That's it. You need courage,
exactly.
Nothing else.
And then last thing you mentioned is, I need to live day by day and hope for the best. Those are the misconceptions I think you mentioned, and really powerful. You said in the book. And I think I just wanted to let other things, Trinity of Success, we talk about that. I wanted to...
We talk about the mind, I want to go a little bit about the rest. So when I was talking about the, like the food, like the food for the mind, for the body, and for the soul. When I talk about the body, like it's very well known that most of the food that we are processing nowadays, it's not good for you. So I was saying, like, try as much as possible, at least during the weekdays, just to try to eat clean, eat healthy. Nowadays, people say, oh, I'm on a diet. It's not a diet. It's just like try to consume as much as possible vegetables, when you want to have this feeling that you're craving for sugar, instead of you having that cake or that chocolate bar, whatever they have, some fruits, you know what I mean? Because this will keep your body like fresh. But once you eat those poison, which is like the fast food and stuff, you will feeling terrible, and you're gonna sleep terrible, and you're gonna wake up feeling terrible. Now, if you want to reward yourself, okay, you can knock yourself out, let's say on the weekend, on a Saturday. You can have the drinks that you want, but during weekdays, try to be committed as much as possible. And when I go back, when I say it's like talking about the soul, it's extremely important who you surround yourself with. Now, if you're talking, if your friends are just discussing who did and who slept with who and who broke up with who, like this is all nonsense. You need to be around people that they discuss events, that they need to discuss ideas, that they need to discuss the future, they need to discuss stuff that really matters. And this is how you're gonna evolve as a human being. So once you have your mind knowing what you want, and definitely you have to write it down, because that's the way that your subconscious will work, by writing down all of your goals and making sure that you're seeing it every day, the second that you wake up. You're nurturing your body properly, and you're nurturing your soul properly. That's the trinity of success, and that's how you're gonna make it in life.
You're listening to the Dream Big and Think Different podcast with Dr. Sachin Maskey. Be sure to stop by SachinMaskeyMT.com to download a free copy of Dr. Maskey's book.
Amazing, man, amazing. So I wrote it down, actually made a point, and whatever you're saying, and I'm hearing from the author, and it's amazing to the mindset is also, as I said, is very important. The really I like about the food for soul, you just said it, stay away from negative people, and your network is your net worth. You are the average of 5 people you surround with, said by Jim Rohn, and stay away from negative people. That's a great mindset and help people to achieve whatever they want. I'm going to shift the gear now from the book. Well, I want to talk more a little bit about the business you're doing in Dubai, the real estate. My first question, again, I start with why I'm a curious guy, so I want to know why real estate for you, and why. We already talked about Dubai, but why did you choose real estate? And there's a lot of other business we can do, right? But why did you choose real estate?
100%, but I mean, like, the real estate, the buildings, the villas, everything in Dubai is gorgeous. Like, it's so beautiful. It's like, you have to see it in your own eyes to understand it. I cannot describe it. And basically, this city is built on, let's say, 50%, which falls under tourism, food and beverage, and this category. And the other 50% is based on real estate. So already this industry is so big, and it has a massive room to grow, and it's growing like year by year. So when I saw all of this, I'm like, wow, that's gorgeous. Yeah, I want to sell this stuff. It's not like I had it in my mind, but when I saw it, I felt like this is what I want to do. And that's how it all started. It was based on a hunch and a feeling.
Of course. And you started in the same company, right? The one you are affiliated,
correct.
Primestay, I think that's the name.
No. We started Provident Estate. Primestay is a holiday homes company that I founded in end of 2018, which is December 2018, almost 4 years ago. Yeah.
The Provident Estate is the name of the company you started.
Correct.
You've been there for 8 years, and I think you mentioned in your book about the CEO of the company. Is that the same one?
Yes.
You actually wanted to quit, and you are very depressed. You want to go back, and something like that. You said you want to try to live day by day. But he gave you some, I don't know. He saw you something in you, and maybe you can tell me a little bit of experience, like how you felt.
Yeah. So as I told you, when I came here, I had no money, and Dubai is a very expensive city. Like, you can spend, I don't know, $100,000 in seconds in here. You know what I mean? It has so much temptation and everything. So I had no money. I didn't know what I was doing, and it was very hard, because in here it's like people are ruthless. They don't care. For example, so let's say I have in my pocket $20. Okay, this $20 I need to use like the metro. I need to use it for food, and I need to use it also so I can go make a viewing. Someone schedules a viewing with you. I use all of my money to be on that. They don't even call you to say, we're sorry, we cannot make it. You know what I mean? So for them, like, it's something they don't care about, but for you, it costs you a lot to do that. So this is why I was like, I'm telling you, when I started, it was very tough. It's like, I felt like life is being against me on purpose. Like, no matter what I was doing, it wasn't working. So I reached a point where, I don't know, I had nothing under my name, like not even $100. So when I came to him and I want to tell him, like, thanks a lot for the opportunity, but I cannot do this anymore. Like, because we don't have salaries, we don't have anything. Once you make your rental or you make your sale, you will get a 50% of that commission. So I couldn't even survive to make that deal. So I came to him to tell him, thank you for the opportunity, but I cannot do this anymore. I have no money left in me. This is where he told me, sit down, and he told me about his start, which was also extremely rough. And I looked at him and I'm like, wow, if this guy made all of this, and let's say in a very similar place where I am now, what's stopping me from doing it? So if he made it, I should even do it better. Because this is my mentality. I respect everyone, but for me, like, no matter who the person is, if he can make it, I will do it better than him. This is just the way I am. So this is what kind of like shifted my mind, and I did my first rental. I remember it very, very carefully. Like, those days when I went to resign, I was just like living off, let's say, everything I had in my pocket. Maybe it was $50. So when I did that first rental with a different agency and lots of stuff, anyway, I ended up with $600. So this made me at least use a taxi. Before, I was living off cheese sandwiches for $1.50 a day. All day I eat that one sandwich. Now I can have chicken, meat, whatever. So that $600 was like an elevation to where, to that rock bottom where I was, you know what I mean? And from there onward, it started to get a bit easier because I had the money. I can spend more time on learning and getting myself knowledgeable to reach where I am today.
Sure.
You know? But this first 90 days, I went through hell, to be very honest.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine that. You know, same with me when I came to the United States. You know, I did nobody. I you know, same like your story. That's the reason I think we got connected. And the first cut is the deepest. You know, and that's what I think everyone has in our journey. But it's amazing, like, you know, in your book, I mean, there's other secret that we didn't talk about, but you mentioned about there's a lot of strategy, how to find the prospect, how to use social media, how you can do business with WhatsApp and all that. You mentioned those two. You know, I think prospecting and listing and all those are very important. And there's a secret behind that you mentioned. You know, I think you can tell a little bit more about that too, you know, about social media, of how you're doing it. And you have 26,000 followers, looks like, in LinkedIn. I don't know. That's great. And if you can share some golden nuggets there too, that'll be great to my, you know, listener and for myself.
So I'll tell you what. So when I started doing this stuff, I always, believe it or not, I was shy in front of a camera. I couldn't speak in front of a camera. And there was an event that happened that triggered me. And from there, I'm like unstoppable doing content creation.
By the way, I love your content. It's
Thank you.
You need to keep more doing that.
Yeah. And from December, it's going to be even changed into way better quality and stuff. I already hired the full team to be managing the stuff for me. So you're going to be seeing even elevation and that. Thanks. So I'll tell you what happened. I was in London in 2019. And I'm not going to mention the name of the hotel. It's a very famous hotel, like one of the top in the world. So, and I was paying £200 a night, which is equivalent almost to $280 a night. So when I came in the hotel, it was very weird because it smelled like fried fish and the lobby of the hotel. And I'm like, okay. And then when I went to my room, it was an absolute shithole. Walls were cracked. I can hear the guy next to me singing drunk, and I'm like, okay, this is dog shit. I cannot be in here. So I went down to the reception and I told her, like, I'm very surprised that a huge international chain like you is providing this. And she was like, sir, it is what it is. If you don't like it, you can leave. And I'm like, oh, really? So now if you pay $280, you can stay in the fanciest place in Dubai. So everything that we do for you in Dubai, how we spoil everyone, how affordable it is, and people still complain. But now in here in London, which is supposed to be like, I don't know, one of the fanciest places, this is the kind of service. So I was so upset. I picked up the phone and I made this video and I posted it. And then the comments were coming like nuts. Yes, you're right. You spoke our mind. You're very good in front of the camera. You should be doing this more often. And I'm like, really? Like, I hated myself talking to a camera, but because I was so upset, that triggered me to do the video. And from there, I was doing a roadshow. We were sending Dubai in the UK. So I started talking about the event and what are the pluses of investing in Dubai and all of this stuff. And people loved it and they start coming to me and I'm like, okay, maybe that's something I should be really focused on. And I did that. But I made it in a way, not just showing properties by like, this is the living area, this is the bedroom, this is the balcony and the view. I was talking why you should be in this specific building. What are the pluses? How can you leverage on your money? How can you use those extended payment plan? How can you get your visa? How can you do all of this stuff? And from there, it exploded. And like, I kind of became like
Gotcha.
I don't know, the face of real estate, let's say, in Dubai. And I started getting tons of international inquiries. And this is what made it like go crazy. Yeah.
Sure. We're going to talk about a little bit about how to actually, from United States, the reason I wanted to bring in the podcast, one of the reasons was to help people from here, including myself, to invest in, one of my goals is to invest in Dubai real estate. I just wanted to know a little bit more about why should I invest in Dubai, especially in Dubai, and what would be like the steps and which market, what kind of property, all those things. As you just mentioned a few things. Maybe we can start with why Dubai, what is the steps process that from myself, I'm not a citizen or resident of Dubai, how easy is that? If you can help us a little bit in that would be great for to hear from you.
Of course. And now you're gonna tell me why Dubai. I'm just gonna give you a few reasons, and I'm gonna tell you how you can buy a property in less than a minute in Dubai. It's that easy.
Seriously.
You just need to sign the papers and it's done. It's super easy.
Listen, guys, less than 1 minute.
No, January we sell properties over the phone. People don't even see it. It's just
Wow.
people that they haven't been on Dubai, we sell them properties. So basically, let me tell you first of all why Dubai. 95% of the properties in Dubai are freehold, means you own this property for lifetime. So if you have a flat, like you own it, you own even the parking in it. If you don't want it, you can transfer it to someone, you can lease it, or you can sell it. So you're owning this property for lifetime, where you will register it in the IFC British court, and you can call your inheritance.
Okay.
This is number one. Number two, each building in Dubai is offering you a gym and a swimming pool, where you and all your visitors or your family have unlimited access to it, which you don't see it in other places. Number three is like the prices in Dubai comparing to the major cities in the world are extremely affordable, and they still have tons of room to grow. Number four, Dubai is ranked in the top 5 safest cities on the planet. There is no beef in Dubai, there is no fight, there's nothing. It's kind of like a bit boring when it comes to this sense, you know what I mean? Like, people walk down the street, no one gets mugged. Even you will see here girls, women walking 3-4 a.m. knowing like no one even dares to look at them. And number 5, the facilities that they are giving you to invest, it's madness. As you said, you have never been in Dubai. You have no business in Dubai. Today, I can get you finance between 50 to 70% on a property. It's all depending on your income and or your portfolio. 50% is guaranteed for everyone, and the remaining is gonna be, it depends on your income, how they will calculate it for you. So all of these reasons combined, it's mental. Like, again, I left the best for now. It's a purely tax-free of everything. You don't pay tax on purchasing your property. In here, they only have a 4% fees of the purchase price to register the property under your name. Now, if you're buying from a developer, most of the times these developers are bearing this on your behalf. So all what you need to put down is 10% down payment. That's it. Congratulations, you have a property. That's why I'm telling you it's extremely easy. People put down payment $20,000, $25,000. They got themselves a property. There is no tax on your income from this property.
So
It's
hold
not
on.
to your pocket.
$20,000 you can buy a property in Dubai.
Of course, and you pay installments until the property is ready. Now, when it's ready, some of those, they will tell you, okay, you have a 3 years post-handover payment plan. Means you are paying between you and the developer after getting your keys and renting this property. And the rentals in Dubai are extremely high. You can make anywhere between 8 to 10% on your property, tax-free net to your pocket. Even if you want to sell this property, you just, let's say you bought a property for $100,000, you're selling it for $200,000. This extra $100,000 is net to your pocket. There is no capital gain tax.
I mean, I can imagine, like, so here in the United States, there's a lot of tax we pay, and especially capital gains, and we have some strategy that can mitigate that tax. But Dubai is like tax-free. You said there's no real estate tax, there is no capital gain tax, and then I guess your rental income is about you said the yield returns are about 8 to 10%.
Correct.
Right? Wow. That's a kind of unheard of. But what kind of property we're talking about? Is this single family? Because we have here single family, multifamily. Is this a duplex or like what kind of property?
like in here we don't have this type of the multifamily. So either you have a flat or you have a townhouse or you have a villa.
Okay.
Right. So that's how it goes. You cannot have, let's say, grounds plus 3 floors and it's divided like a townhome where each one has a separate entrance. We don't have such a property. So townhouse is very similar to a villa. The difference is it doesn't have its own independent plot. It comes in a row of 4, row of 6, row of 8. That's it. You have independent villas and you have apartment. You have duplexes. We have lots of lofts in Dubai. We even have penthouses, which is a full floor of 4 or 5 bedrooms, including private pool and stuff. And yeah, the figures of sales, it's madness. Like last week, in a week, the closing was 12 billion dirhams. This is equivalent to $3.5 billion per week. No. Per week of sales from Dubai Land Department, that because they're very transparent, they give you all of the transactions, all of the figures. So in 1 week there was sales of $3.5 billion.
In 1 week.
In 1 week, which is madness. Yes, some days they are hitting 1.8 billion, which is $500 million a day.
Sure.
So everyone is bringing the money in here. Everyone is even relocating here.
Wow. So my question again is amazing that I'm learning all this from you today. Actually, I'm very interested myself. Actually, regarding so between this flat, townhomes, and villa, your focus in which property and which one you recommend for somebody to start investing in Dubai?
It's all depending on what's the purpose of your investment. So, for example, I have people coming, let's say, from the UK now. Okay, they want to be in a community where it's a walking distance from their schools. They want to have the activities like everything inside of the community. And we have a lot of those, and they're all beautiful, green, golf courses. They have horses in it. They have basketball, football, skateboarding park, barbecue park. So in these communities, and these are getting very popular. This is a product where someone, as I said, is coming with his family. He's working all day. He want to make sure like his family is happy where they are. So they will buy this kind of properties. We have other people coming and they say, okay, I'm a flipper. I want to flip in the next 6 months. This is someone immediately, I will take him to a property on the beach, where we have here like man-made islands, that these islands never existed. They created it in the middle of the beach, and these properties really shoot like madness because there is like very limited inventory and the demand on those is nuts. And then I have some people coming to me and say, Anthony, you know what? I have $1 million. I don't want to put it in one property. What can you offer me? Then I'll take them to developers where they have, let's say, ready buildings, and I make a deal for them by saying, okay, bring me all of that money. I will go make a deal with the developer. I tell them, okay, I want to buy from you 5 units. However, my deal is I will pay you 20% immediately on each unit. You give me the keys, and the remaining we pay it, let's say, the 80% anywhere between 3 years to 5 years. They say yes, I make the deal. So I take up these units, I fully furnish them, and start leasing them on the short-term rental, which is the system of Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia, the daily, weekly, and monthly rental. And in those, we exceed the 10%. In some areas, we hit 17%. So what's happening? All of the income coming from these properties, I will inject it for the developer, and whatever is missing from the quarterly installment, this client will be paying it. So if you want to think about it, for the next 5 years, this guy has paid, let's say, 40% or 35% from his own pocket, and I was able to generate for him all of the remaining from the income from the properties. And once I finish all of these payments, I don't need him to inject any more money. I can call the bank, tell him, come over here, buddy, make an evaluation for these properties. They will make an evaluation, let's say, for $1.2 million or $1.4 million. And based on those, they will offer the client, telling him, okay, we're gonna give you 60% equity release. So they're gonna give him, let's say, almost $800,000, where he can take this money and buy another 3 or 4 properties. And then I have 4 properties paying for everything, and the remaining is net to his pocket, headache free. And this is how I create portfolios for people in Dubai. It's all based on the leverage.
I totally like that idea, and so my curiosity is, again, for us, the United States, what is the process to do those things in Dubai? Can I just do with the paperwork? Like, do I have to be resident
Passport
of
copy,
Dubai?
passport copy. That's it. Passport copy. You just
So I
need
don't have to
send
be
your
resident
passport.
of Dubai.
You don't have to be resident of. You just send me your passport copy. I will pick the unit for you. I will give it for this developer. They will issue something called the reservation form. And even if you don't have the funds in the same second, all what you need to pay is $5,000. They will remove this unit from the system. No one can sell it. They will give you 10 days to transfer the remaining 10%. So they will send you this reservation form. You will sign it, send it back to them, and you can even do like an electronic signature. You don't even have to have the actual original papers. Send it to them. That's it. It's that easy. Later on, when you paid your 10% down payment, they will ship to you the SPA, which is the sales purchase agreement, that you have to sign it all, send it back to the developer, and that's it. Voila, you have a property. Done.
You're the owner of the property.
Yeah, and during this process, let's say you bought something today which gonna be handed over in 4 years. Let's say that something happened in your life. Maybe you got a crazy offer. You bought this property, let's say, for $1 million. You put down $100,000. Then you got someone to tell you, okay, I'm gonna buy it from you $1.4 million. Means you already made 400,000 on that 100,000 that you paid, and it happens a lot. You were like, okay, let me sell it. You can sell it. It's not like they can tell you, no, you will not be able to sell it until it's ready. Upon you paying 30% from the price of the property, this developer will give you a non-objection certificate by saying, I have no objection that this guy wants to transfer this property to the other guy. It's that easy.
And then this property is already built, or just have to be built
under construction. Now,
under
if
construction.
you're buying something built, you have to pay 100%. Whether if you're paying it all cash or you're using a bank mortgage.
Gotcha.
But something under construction always has a room between 3 to 4 years for you to be paying easy installment, and that's why people buy something under construction.
When do I get rental income? So if it's under construction, like it has to be constructed, how many, like, timeline with?
Property has to be ready in order for us to rent it out.
Right. So about 3 years, the thing?
It's all depending. So it depends on the project. You know what I mean? Some properties hand over in 15 months, some in 18 months. It depends how big is the building. We have buildings in Dubai, they go above the 100th floor. We have buildings only 4 floors. So it depends on where you put your money.
Sure. So sounds like it's a very good strategy. And once you started construction to build, once you get rented, it's like a hands-free, right? As an investor, I'm thinking I don't have to come there to do property management or anything like
You
that.
don't have to do anything. And actually, let me tell you something. Now they have done, they are making it also very easy for people. So now they are doing something called a golden visa, where
Golden visa.
you will be entitled to take a golden visa by you only purchasing a property valued of 2 million dirhams. This is, I think, equivalent to $600,000. But this is not the catch. This is not the catch. You don't have to inject the 600,000. Upon you paying 20% only from the $600,000, which is $120,000, you will be eligible to get this golden visa.
What is the advantage of that?
First of all, the length of the visa, it's 5 years visa renewable. So if you make it based on this property, you need to keep this property with you. Because after 5 years, if you don't have the property, you cannot renew 5 years. You can renew only 2 years. Okay? Once you have the golden visa, immediately you can have your local bank account in here. And in this bank account, you can be accepting money, you can be doing bank transfers, you can be having your own checkbook, and you can be having debit and a credit card. So all of this money which is coming from this property, for us, we have two options. Either we transfer it back home to you wherever you are, okay? Or you can have this money in your bank account in Dubai where you control it from your phone. From the mobile application, you can transfer that money to whoever you want without needing to talk to anyone. All what you need to submit is an IBAN. It's that easy. So yeah, you don't have to be in Dubai. But trust me, once you're in Dubai, you don't want to be anywhere else.
I can see that, and I can definitely. One of my goal, probably 2024, must like to visit you in person, and of course, have some fun time and get to know each other better. But appreciate all this information. We are, having fun here. And learn so many things about you. I would like to probably have further down in the road in my podcast again.
Of course.
Believe it or not, this is my first interview in my podcast, and I really appreciate.
I'm flattered, actually. If I'm your friend, I'm flattered.
I'm very honored. Your presence is very important, and whatever you have done so far.
And you're doing amazing for the first podcast. Honestly,
thank you.
You're doing really good.
Thank you very much. Before I leave, Anthony, can you tell our listener or whoever viewing in this YouTube, where can people reach you? And before you leave, what is the one thing that you want to share that people can get inspire, impact, and empower?
Where people can reach me, I'm basically on most of the social media platforms. I'm on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApps, and you have all of my credentials, and I will send it later on to you so you can put it in the description of this one. Now, what do I need to tell people to get inspired? To be very honest, something that I keep repeating every day. Just want to tell them that doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what's your color, what's your religion, what's anything. It's all, as we said, about the trinity of success. Start isolating yourself and take time to yourself to think, I've been doing everything wrong. How can I get it right? And start reaching out to people, have mentors. When I started, there was no social media presence as today. Today, the knowledge is everywhere. You can find wherever you want, and it's all for free. So put it down for you as a goal and say, okay, if I hate my life now, how I'm going to change it? Where I'm going to be next year, the year after it. Maybe whatever you will write down, you will not achieve in the same time frame, but at least you will know that you are on the right track. And anyone can make it. It all starts from here. That's it.
Amazing. Thank you, Anthony, again for sharing
Thank
the
you for having me.
Words of wisdom. And see you next time, guys. Thank you for listening. Take care.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Dream Big and Think Different. We hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to subscribe to our show so you don't miss any gold nuggets. We would appreciate it if you could rate and leave us a review on iTunes, Spotify, and other platforms. And be sure to stop by SachinMaskeyMD.com to download a free copy of Sachin's book. Until next time.